was only one thing to do.
Welcome to Body Shaped by Ronald. Meet your host, me, Ronald. Prepare to suffer. 1, arms up. 2, legs out. 3, head back. 4, toes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, fatty. Your blubber disgusts me.
Pork chop!
You know, in a world of wild and inappropriate productions, shows that push the boundaries of what a young audience can handle, and episodes of cultural significance that you have to do justice to or the comment section will eat you up, it's nice to just put on an episode of Doug and not have to worry about anything. Doug, the most easygoing of the 3 original Nicktoons, an animated program about normal kids dealing with normal day-to-day issues. A show made by just some guy. Not a predatory groomer or a bickering couple on the verge of divorce, just a normal dude. I'm not kidding. Doug is such a wonderfully low-stakes show to talk about, and my personal favorite of the OG Nicktoons trilogy, both now and as a kid. It offered a bit of a break from the rest of Nickelodeon's high-energy, messy programming. Nothing wrong with that stuff, but you get exhausted pretty quickly when you're always running at top speed. So today, no behind-the-scenes drama, only mild literary analysis. We're just going to talk about an episode of Doug for 10 minutes. Originally airing on October 10th, 1993, Doug Door-to-Door / Doug Tips the Scales is the 3rd episode of Doug's 4th season, the 42nd episode overall. Our first segment, Doug Door-to-Door, was written by Joe Fallon, who afterwards would write for a lot of PBS shows, including 37 episodes of Sesame Street, 51 episodes of Arthur, and creating and writing the bulk of the PBS Curious George show. It was directed by Carol Millison, who had previously been an animator on some of the Raggedy Ann movies, and would go on to direct pretty exclusively for Nickelodeon on shows like Rugrats, The Wild Thornberrys, The Fairly OddParents, and As Told by Ginger. It's almost time for the Bluff Scout Troop camping trip, but they're in serious need of new canoes, and when the Scouts need money, that means going door to door to sell Bluff Scout booster bars. It's too bad these chocolate bars suck.
Yeah, they taste like cement.
However, while Doug struggles to sell even a single bar, local troublemaker Roger Klotz is selling boxes of the stuff. What's his secret? Well, it turns out he's handing out other, better candy bars as free samples, then deceiving the customers into buying the old cruddy stuff. Doug is initially put off by Roger's scam, but it's clear that these chocolate bars suck and they will not sell. There's just no other way. So Doug approaches the next person on his list and gives it a shot.
I'll buy the whole box.
All of them? I'm sorry, Mr. Swirly, I can't.
What's that?
That sample was fake. Here, this is the real stuff.
Thankfully, this happens to be Mr. Swirly, Bluffington's resident chocolate mogul. When Swirly realizes that it's his company that makes the booster bars, he takes Doug to the factory to discover a cement mixer feeding the chocolate machine. Swirly thanks Doug and sends out a fresh batch of cement-free booster bars, which sell great. The camping trip is saved. Doug Door-to-Door is a fun little cartoon that is, from 2 different directions, about ethical practices in business. Doug learned that lying to sell a product is morally wrong, and the kids watching learn that corporations will see no consequences for gross, harmful negligence. I don't care if he has funny ice cream hair, Mr. Swirly should be in jail. Cement had to have been fed into the chocolate for months. This company clearly has no safety inspectors, no quality testers, no apparent staff to speak of. This could seriously hurt people. You should be able to say, oopsie daisy, and move on. There should be accountability. But you don't see accountability in this world. Do you think anyone at Kraft Heinz is going to see a single consequence for there being lead in Lunchables? Doug is truly a post-Reagan cartoon, a world of deregulation and the rich and powerful never seeing justice. Guys, I said mild analysis. I'm still going to goof off here. Also, it's pretty funny that the booster bars weigh 17 pounds. That's a good gag. The second cartoon, Doug Tips the Scales, was written by Dennis Garvey, who doesn't have a lot of credits outside of Doug. 1 episode of PB&J Otter, 2 episodes of Stanley, that's about it. Oh, and also Jim Jenkins' straight-to-video Christian dog cartoon project, Hoop Dogs, with a Z. Why am I only just now hearing about this? It was co-directed by the late Tony Eastman, who was also the lead animator on Beavis and Butthead, and Drew Edwards, a storyboard artist from shows like Beetlejuice, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Dennis the Menace cartoon. Doug gets back from spending a week with his grandmother, who absolutely spoiled him with treats and junk food. He realizes quickly that he gained a noticeable amount of weight. His clothes don't fit as well, and it really starts to mess with his self-image. What's worse is that BB is holding a pool party in 1 week, and Doug is horrified at the idea of being seen wearing a bathing suit.
No, it's too late. It's here.
You big fat loser! Look what you've done to Phoebe's party!
So Doug goes through a week of intense dieting and working out to tapes hosted by Arnold Schwarzenegger parody Ronald Weisenheimer. And golly, it works. Doug is back to his old weight by the end of the week. However, his self-consciousness and negative body image has not disappeared, and he intends to skip out on the swimming. When he arrives at the party, however, he discovers, well gosh, no one else is swimming either because they all have negative body images. This snaps Doug out of it.
This was stupid. It was way too hot to be embarrassed. Hey, look at me, everybody. I'm Ronald Weisenheimer. Prepare to suffer.
Okay, this one's a touch more complicated than cement candy bars. Doug tips the scales way into the topics of fat shaming and the negative body images of young people, and it's really easy to mess that stuff up. And on a personal note, this cartoon is the episode of Doug that I, Gregifer, the one making this video, found the most affecting because this exact thing happened to me. I spent 2 months of summer break at my grandparents' house, which had a lot more junk food than my parents usually allow, and when I came back, I had gained a noticeable amount of weight that I became horribly self-conscious of for the rest of the summer, even opting out of going swimming. The main difference was that I didn't have magic workout tapes to help me lose the fat in a week. I would say the biggest issue with this cartoon is his sense of time. Doug gets fat after just a week of bad eating, and then loses all of that fat after a week of intense workout, which isn't how it works and sets some dangerous expectations of weight loss. If you manage to lose 40 pounds in a week, that's not good. You need to see a doctor. It's a clumsy execution, but I think the actual message here is on the right track. The key is how all the kids have their own body image issues. Skeeter thinks he's too skinny, Patty thinks her shoulders are bony. It's good to show that negative body images are not just limited to those perceived as overweight, but covers a wide range of physical traits. It can affect any and all of us. And the final moment of Doug simply ignoring what other people might think about his physicality and start enjoying life is the right note to end things on. Also, I want to point out this little scene where Doug is approached by 2 other supporting characters who are also on the bigger side, and they spark up a rapport that I found quite charming.
Stripes, Doug. Huh? Vertical stripes.
And dark colors. That'll hide it even better.
Hide what? My fat?
We're not fat, Doug. I'm big boned.
And I'm stout.
Well, then what am I?
Husky?
Just a little finding a community moment that I liked quite a lot. A moment I kind of wish I had when I was dealing with this stuff as a young person. I still think Disney's Doug's greatest sin was having Connie go to a fat farm. Doug Door to Door / Doug Tips the Scales is a pleasant half hour of television. Perhaps not an all-timer, but easy to enjoy and generally positive, if imperfect, in its messaging. And that's great, because that kind of TV is harder to find these days. These days, we tend to build our lives around the big blockbuster moments. Every movie has to be a billion-dollar tentpole. Every episode of a TV show has to continue the season arc. There's little time for small moments, fun but unimportant entertainments. We only break out our cameras for birthdays and vacations. We should make space for ourselves to have smaller moments. The filler B+ episodes, the mid-budget drama, the quiet days where not much happened but you saw a pretty bird and took a picture of your father working in the garden. These are important too. If you ever beat yourself up for not getting anything done today, that you didn't sell enough Buster bars, that you're not losing the weight fast enough, don't. You're not a failure, you're just living life. The same speed as the rest of us.